Now that we have inserted our components into our assembly, we need to constrain these to one another. We'll go into the Assemblies tab and go into Assemblies Constraints. The first constraint I'm going to apply is a fixed constraint to this gray linkage. This is going to hold this steady. This is going to keep this in that position. So anything that we constrain to it is going to move to it. Let me apply that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this yellow linkage and center this lug. I'm going to use this outside face and this inside face to these two inside faces of this gray linkage. Now that it is centered. If I click and drag with my first mouse button on this yellow linkage, you'll notice it's still able to move. But the movement is constrained. This has to stay fixed to this gray linkage and stay centered. With that, I'm going to go into Touch Align. I want to infer an axis, and I want to take this center axis to this center axis. Once again, this is still centered, and these lugs now share the same axis. If I grab this and move this, again with the first mouse button, you'll note that it now rotates about that axis. I'm going to constrain the angle, take this face to this face, and we'll put in 120 degrees. Next, I have this subassembly. Now when I look at my assembly navigator, you'll notice I have the components below this subassembly. So I want to constrain these components. In order to do so, I need to double click on that subassembly, making it the work part. Now that it is the work part, I can go in to my assembly constraints, and once again I'm going to fix my first component. Now that that component is fixed, I can begin constraining the rest of the components. I'm going to go with what's called concentric. For concentric, I want to take this circle and this circle. Now when I go to move this, you'll notice those components are basically fixed together. So the concentric is saying those center points align, and those two circles basically touch each other. So they stay fixed. I'm going to do another concentric. I'm going to take this outside top edge and go to my pin. I'm going to do the same thing for these bushings, here and here, edge to edge here. And now these fittings are going to be placed using concentric as well. Now note that these fittings, if I grab and drag, have that degree of freedom in them. So if you wanted to fix that, you could put in an angle constraint to something else. I'll make this and this concentric, and just like that, these components are fixed to that pin. Let me apply. Now I want to take this entire subassembly and place it into this linkage. In order to do that, I have to make my top level assembly my work part. And once again, go into Assembly Constraints. I'm going to use center. I want to center this face and this face to this face and this face. And then I want to use my touch align with my infer axis. I want to take my axis line from my pin to one of these lugs. If I grab this entire subassembly, note that all of the components because the subassembly is seen as a singular component at the top level assembly here. So all of these components are now, as you can see, moving together in that subassembly. So if you needed to make a change to one of these, we select OK. You would go into the subassembly and make that change appropriately.